happens after you get struck by lightning? There's thunder.
Alrighty, happy Monday, everybody. So welcome to the Eagles-Texans Week 9 recap. And if you're new to the Hardcore Sports Network, do us a favor, hit the subscribe button and drop a like on this to show your support for the Hardcore Sports Network. Also, this is streaming on my main channel as well, the Nikki Stees channel. So also feel free to drop a like there and subscribe to that my Nikki Stees channel if you haven't done so already. So let's get into it. So the Philadelphia Eagles remain the only unbeaten team in the NFL, defeating the Houston Texans on Thursday Night Football on the road, 29-17. Now, going into this game, I had said in my preview video I did last Wednesday, I was expecting the Eagles could win this game by a blowout based on the way the Houston Texans looked as a team, and they looked awful, and they still do. And the way the Philadelphia Eagles have been dominating, I thought it could be a blowout. It wasn't that. It was tighter than it should have been. It was first half, it was, 14-14 in the half. It was like, uh-oh, what's going on here? But then the second half, we took over, and we did enough to walk away with the victory. So a win's a win. You get them any way you can get them. That's the good thing right there. And for the first time in franchise history, as the title of this video says, the Philadelphia Eagles are 8-0. So let's give quick cheers to that. Unfortunately, trying to get you guys a closer look right there. So cheers to this 8-0 start. It's the good thing right there. And while it's also not worried, no, as Jalen Hurts said in the post-game press conference, he was asked about being 8-0, and he referred back to his time in Alabama where he went undefeated and lost in the national championship game. So the point being is, though, yes, you can start off a season red hot, but ain't about how you start, it's how you finish. And Jalen Hurts used a great example from his college days. So, yes, we're undefeated right now, but the end goal is to win a championship. So business has not been taken care of yet. And we look at through recent NFL history. Let's just real quickly take a look at some of the teams that went undefeated throughout the season. Fell short. You guys remember the 2011 Packers, 1 year removed from their Super Bowl 45 win against the Steelers. Remember they started, 13-0, I think. Right, and then they they finished the season 15-1 after a 13-0 start and lost in the divisional round, one and done to the eventual Super Bowl 46 champion New York Giants. You remember the Rams in 2018, they start 8-0 before they lost to the Saints, but then they lost in Super Bowl 53 to the Patriots. Remember the Kansas City Chiefs. Remember Priest Holmes, Trent Green, Tony Gonzalez, Dante Hall's a returner, Dick Vermeil's their head coach. What did they start, 11-0 in 2003 and lost to the Colts in the wild card? So the point being is, it ain't no start, a 7-0 start, whatever the case may be, that don't guarantee a championship. Take the 2004 Eagles with that 7-0 start. We had that 7-0 start, but remember what happened. Right, we lost in the Super Bowl. So the point being is that business has not been taken care of yet. But as of right now, though, we're doing what we need to do. So, but let's just keep in mind, though, that the end goal is to win a championship, though. So let's get into it. So this game, it was looking a little shaky early on. We went out there. We gave up that touchdown drive to start it. We did bounce back with a touchdown right after that, so that was good right there. But then in the second quarter, we had a fumble right there. We did end up scoring a touchdown, take the lead 14-7 in the Kenneth Gainwell run. but then we gave up a touchdown late in the first half, and then we finished up the draw half with a missed field goal by Jake Elliott. So he went into halftime 14-14. Some of us were kind of like, uh-oh, what's going on here? Did we play down to the Texans level like the Steelers are going to do? The short week get to us? It was kind of like, what's going on here? But then the second half, we did enough. We shut them down to only one field goal in the second half. We got a touchdown out of it. We got 2 touchdowns out of it. We got a 2-point conversion out of it. So, and Jalen Hurts, he got the touchdown, 17-yard to A.J. Brown, 4-yard to Dallas Goedert. And the fourth quarter, we didn't allow them to score a single point in the fourth quarter. So we got going the second half and did what we needed to do. Awesomeness Sports, thank you for coming in. Shout out to him for coming in. Awesomeness Sports is a Washington Commanders fan. Thank you for your support, though. I give you guys credit for that fight you put up against the Vikings yesterday. You put up a good fight, but hey, with all due respect, they just got the best of you. As I was saying, though, so the Eagles, hey, Jalen Hurts had 2 touchdown passes, 21 for 27. Nice job passing, but here's the thing, though, too, about his performance. He did have 2 fumbles, and he lost one of those fumbles. The other fumble was recovered by Jason Kelsey, but, those 2 fumbles, you got to do better than that. You got to do a better job holding on to the ball. Now, I'm not going to go too hard on Jalen Hurts. I understand sometimes fumbles happen, but 2 fumbles in one game against the Houston Texans, you just got to do better than that going forward. Okay, other than that, he put together a nice performance, but hey, those 2 fumbles, you just got to do a better job holding on to the ball. So it is something that does need to be pointed out, and I felt it was fair to at least acknowledge. But I'm not going to go too hard on it. All I'm going to say, like I said, just do better next time with holding on to the ball. As far as passing goes, okay, we did a good job passing. Hey, we got Dallas Goedert, their main target. He had 8 receptions, 100 yards, including that 1 touchdown. And A.J. Brown only had 4 receptions for 59 yards, and he did have a touchdown. But Quez Watkins had a couple catches. He had 2 catches for 25 yards, 1 catch for 23. The other was just for 2. We did get 1 deep ball throw with him there. Devontae Smith, he only got 2 targets this whole game for 22 yards. And he had 1 reception for 22 yards, another for no gain. But hey, so, Devontae Smith was out of it a little bit. But, what am I looking to say? He didn't get as many looks as we'd expect to, but it happens. It says Jordan, I'm assuming you meant to spell Maleta, Birdman, but I'm guessing it changed it. So, saying Jordan Maleta played horrible. Yeah, with the O-line, definitely. Yeah, that's definitely played a factor in this game, too. Because if we did a better job on the line, specifically Mr. Maleta himself, we could have won this game more decisively, too. So, plays a factor, man. I know it's a shortened week, but it's one of those games that even though we won, there's still things we could nitpick from this game. And shout out to Birdman, as he pointed out, Jordan Maleta's play. Right, which, yes, and he left a comment to confirm that he meant Maleta, which I figured. No worries. Yeah, so obviously there were things we could have done better right there. We could have done better with the O-line. We could have done a better job shutting down the run game for sure. And obviously not having Jordan Davis there, it certainly played a factor in us against the run game. Not to take away from Dameon Pierce, credit to him. He's their top guy on their offense right now for this Texans team. And credit, they fed him the ball. They gave him 27 carries. He had 139 yards. And Dameon Pierce did the best he could. So I got to give him credit for that right there. But, man, our defense has got to shape up on stopping the run too. So, because we've seen it at times. We struggled with it week 1 against the Detroit Lions. We struggled with it on Thursday. And quite frankly, hey, we got lucky we were playing the Houston Texans, because if we were playing a good team that actually had a real offense and they were running the ball that effectively, they could have possibly beat us in a shootout if it were that type of game against that type of team. So on one hand, with our inability to stop the run, we did get lucky, we were playing the Houston Texans because outside of Dameon Pierce, what are they really? I mean, Davis Mills was okay. He did throw those 2 touchdown passes, but he also threw those 2 picks, which I'll give my shout outs on those picks in a second. But you had Davis Mills, who at best is average at this point. And Birdman also comes in. Another I think the NFL needs to stop playing on Thursday. High risk, no reward, in my opinion. You know what? I felt this too. Like I haven't really said it much on here, but I have thought to myself a few times in conversations I had with family members in person where we talk about football. I said, I really do think they overdid Thursday night football once they started doing it on a weekly basis. Because I was like, I'm okay with them doing it opening night. Let the Super Bowl champion play a home game. Thanksgiving, okay, cool. I'm cool with that. But I think outside of opening night and Thanksgiving, yeah, I do think they're over-relying on Thursday night games. But that just goes to show you the greed of the shield right there. So yes, personally, I do think, they do too many Thursday night games. So I'm with you on that one. I've been taking that stance for quite some time now. But yes, back to the game right now. But obviously that was just the one thing without Jordan Davis. You saw our defense struggling against that run game. I mean, not to take away from Dameon Pierce, like I said, but we got to do better on that going forward, especially when we play tougher opposition. So yes, moving on from that, though. And as far as I did just say, I was going to give shout-outs to the defense for those 2 interceptions. We got one from C.J. Gardner-Johnson, another from James Bradbury. I'm telling you, ever since those 2 came to the Eagles, they've been recording picks like it's like the Deion Sanders. Right. I mean, they're just out there all over the ball. They're basically ball hawking it. I mean, seriously. Oh, yeah, absolutely. We need to make some adjustments. Absolutely. I mean, you can't just rely on one player to give you a chance to stop the run. You got to have other ways to do it too. Because if Jordan Davis ends up coming back, he re-injures himself and he's out in the playoffs, hopefully that's not going to happen, but say something like that happens. You got to have something you can do to adjust to stop the run if Jordan Davis isn't there, especially in those big games. Especially if it, God forbid, were to happen in the playoffs, you got to have something to adjust to. Absolutely. Facts. So, yeah, certainly we got to do better right there. Stopping the run, I mean, we have the talent there. We got guys like Javon Hargrave. You have our linebacker core, TJ Edwards, Kazir White. And we still got Josh Sweat. You got Hassan Reddick in there, Brandon Graham. You got Robert Quinn, who was acquired. I mean, we got talent there to help stop the run. You look at this roster. I mean, there's talent there. We should be able to find a way to stop the run without one player. So yes, back to the point. That's something we got to work on right there. You know what? This game right there, even though I'm starting to be nitpicky because, felt like we definitely should have done better. I mean, we're talking about a team in the Houston Texans that was coming into this game 1-5-1. And I even called them doo-doo in my preview last Wednesday. And I was expecting that this could be a blowout. I remember even later that night on Wednesday on the Pick'ems, Hardcore Sports Network exclusive, there were several of us saying, look, this has the making to be a blowout. And we didn't do that. So, yes, there is some stuff to nitpick from this game, but I'm not going to be too hard on the negatives here because I've kind of gone on with the negatives a little bit longer than I was hoping to. So, okay, so we also get the Commanders game is going to be close, really close field goals, but we need to win. Yeah, absolutely. We just keep winning and building momentum because actually we're looking for home field advantage. I feel now home field advantage is more important than ever now with that extra seed now. Because it's the third year with the 7th seed, and you get home field advantage now, you're the only team in your conference that gets a first-round bye. So it's absolutely important to keep on winning to get home field advantage, especially with the Vikings being one game behind us. You want to make sure you keep winning to secure that home field advantage in the playoffs. So, yes, we do need to win against the Commanders, which I'll get more into that game later this week in an upcoming preview. So, as far as this game goes, look, but the good thing is we did win this game. We went on the road and we won. On a short week, yes, but we still went out there and we won this game. We did what we needed to do. We played better in the second half. And ultimately in the NFL, in any sport or any walk of life, it's not about how you start. It's about how you finish. And we finished doing far better. Our defense stepped up in the second half. We only allowed a field goal in the second half, and we got 2 interceptions. So we stepped up there in the second half defensively. We stepped up in the third quarter offensively. Jalen Hurts, you had those 2 touchdown passes. You had that 2-point conversion. So we did. Hey, we stepped up. We came out there with the W, and that's what matters right there. You keep finding ways to win games, especially with it still. I mean, technically the division's still up for grabs with the Cowboys and Giants sitting at 6-2. So yeah, that's another reason you got to keep on winning, because technically, the division's up for grabs. If we drop a few games, the Giants get really hot. If either team were to in the second half of the season, I would say the Cowboys most likely, if that were to happen. But if either of those 2 teams gets really hot in the second season, an unlikely scenario, but you're talking about the possibility that if we were to start losing some games, we could get the second place in our division. Again, an unlikely scenario, but technically it could still happen. So it's important to just keep on winning these games. We got the Commanders next. Okay, we actually get a full, well, to be fair, since it's a Monday night game, that gives us a little bit of extra time to prepare, to make up for going into on the road with only 3 days rest. So that makes up for that a little bit, but we got that game right there. We definitely want to win that game right there because they're this team struggling in our division. So it's definitely important to win that game, especially as the season goes along. We get more of those division games. Yeah, we got to win those games, especially against the Cowboys and Giants to secure a division win. Not only that, but home field advantage. So, but this game against the Texans, it really did help us. It would help us keep going in that direction by staying undefeated. And here on offense, we actually were able to do good both passing and running the ball. And also credit to Miles Sanders, too. I didn't get to him yet, but I feel it's important I mention him. So we got 17 carries, 93 yards, a touchdown, long 25. Okay, that's a respectable day on the ground right there. You have Kenneth Gainwell got a couple carries. He got 4 carries, but he did get a touchdown out of it. So that's, so hey, we're doing something. And we used Kenneth Gainwell in the passing game a little bit. He did help us out a bit. The 3 receptions, 16 yards. Longest was 8, but he did help us out a little bit. So the running game, yeah, shout out to Miles Sanders because he's at least a quality back. I'm not sold on Miles Sanders being like a true elite back, but he's at least respectable for now. But that's going to create a question of what do we do in the offseason, but we'll get to that later. So, but on this game against the Texans, it was good enough. It was good enough to help add a little bit of spark to our offense along with the passing game. So in this case, give a thumbs up right there to Miles Sanders. And hey, the defense, like I said, I gave them credit. Mainly, though, give C.J. Gardner-Johnson and James Bradbury credit. Like they come into Philadelphia and they're getting interceptions left and right. They're playing some of the best footballs of their respective careers thus far, those 2, since coming to Philadelphia. So that goes to show that not only did Howie Roseman make the right move getting these guys, but the Philadelphia Eagles is a great fit for these players. So that means with these guys, James Bradbury, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, if the Eagles are a great fit for him, which it is so far, we can keep these guys going forward. Or forget just 1 season, 2 seasons, we can keep these, especially C.J. Gardner-Johnson, we could have him around for a while. So that's awesome right there to see these guys balling out on defense, knowing that, hey, these guys could be pieces for a while right here. They're helping our defense play much better than last year, and they seem to fit in really well with the Eagles as they're playing them their best respective football. So, the more I see this defense each week, the more I'm saying, man, we really hit it out of the park this offseason. especially with our secondary. The more I see the secondary each week, I keep thinking, man, we really made the right moves getting these guys right here. I mean, last year when we were playing, you compare this year to last year. Last year when we had to play against a quarterback that was even Pro Bowl quality or better, whether you're talking Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, okay, not so much this year, but, last year you had Tom Brady. Who else did we play last year? Oh, Patrick Mahomes. You notice we were struggling there with the secondary to stop these guys. But this year we're doing much better with our secondary right here. And some people, haters, are going to you always try to say, oh, well, who'd you beat? Oh, you beat the Lions. You only won by 3 points. Oh, you beat the Houston Texans. You beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. You beat the Commanders with Carson Wentz. Oh, those were easy matchups. Yeah. Well, how about this one for you? Remember week 2 against the Minnesota Vikings? The team that's one game behind us for home field advantage in the NFC right now. Right, whose only loss came to who week 2, right? Remember how we shut them down to only 7 points? Remember Darius Slade Jr. shutting down Justin Jefferson? And there's another one we got to give credit to. We still have Darius Slade Jr. there. The best piece of our secondary last year. He's still with us this year. He's still a vital piece too. On top of James Bradbury and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. But that helps out right there because that makes Big Play Slade's job a little bit easier. Having those guys there to help him out. And that's what's great right there. And you have multiple elite guys in your secondary that can make plays and shut receivers down. And the Texans game proves it again with those 2 picks we got. You got at least 3 guys there in that secondary. 3 of those guys right there. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, James Bradbury, Darius Slade Jr. that can do something right there and shut you down. And that's what they do. So that just makes it harder for QBs to compete against us with that right there. You'll be thrown into coverage. You'll be having to worry about this thrown to this guy's direction, this guy's direction, this guy's direction. And that's what's awesome about it right there. And no matter who we playing, like I said, go back to the Vikings game. Only week 2, we shut those guys down. We only let them score 1 touchdown. Okay, so don't tell me that this defense is only beating up on bad teams. That ain't the case at all. Okay? We're just a good defense, period. Now, the key is obviously to keep this momentum up as the season goes along. It's another subject for another time. But we're still on this. I got to give credit to the Houston Texans, too. I got it. Because they put up a fight. And credit to Lovie Smith, he's at least getting those guys playing with some heart out there. Because I've been seeing that throughout the season. Obviously, it's not there in terms of the Houston Texans record because their roster sucks. And let's face it, any coach would have a hard time getting that team to do good. Even Coach Belichick himself would have a hard time with that team, with the roster the way it's constructed, the way Bill O'Brien ran that team into the ground. But the fact that they're at least competitive and the fact they went out there and at least made a fight out of it against us, I got to at least give the Houston Texans props on that. I got to give Lovie Smith props for at least having this team go out there and play their best they can with what they're given. And I do believe if the Texans had a better roster with Lovie Smith as their coach, they'd certainly have more wins. You would see it more in the record book if they had a better roster. But do I feel it's at least fair to give the Houston Texans a shout out right here and, give them credit for at least making it a close game. They kept it tied in the first half, going in as heavy underdogs, and they did the best they could with what they had. So I at least got to give the Houston Texans props on that, man. So props to the Houston Texans for at least putting up a fight in this game. But we still got you. We're still undefeated, and your team's still trash, all right? You still got a long way to go, Houston. You still got a long way to go before you rebuild. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, your baseball team won the World Series against the Phillies. So just at least be happy about that. But hey, you know what? Any way you can get it, a win's a win right here. It wasn't the prettiest game in the world. There was some ugly there. We had, some few fumbles right there. Our defense struggled against the run. Our O-line was a little shaky. But hey, we did enough what we needed to do. We made adjust. We did better in the second half. We got the turnovers we needed to. We moved down the field and scored the points we needed to. We made second half adjustments and we pulled away with the win. And that's what counts the most right there. So salute to the Eagles for remaining undefeated, moving up to 8-0. Business ain't done yet. Not till you win a championship. That's the ultimate end goal, thing that matters most. But you know what? Things are still trending in an upward direction. Houston Texans done. Bring on the Commanders next. Let's see what happens this time around with Taylor Heineke. But I'll be back to talk about that more later this week. And to everyone that tuned in to this stream, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Mostly shout out to Birdman951 for being active in the live chat. And to everyone that dropped the like. And here we go. We got Philly Sports Talk Podcast coming in. So right now, just giving an overview of this game right there. Thank you for coming in. Was just talking about a lot of the goods and bads that I saw this game right there. When I was actually getting to my closing thoughts, but hey, thank you for coming in anyway. Thank you for leaving a comment in the live chat. So to everyone that did drop in, thank you for dropping in. Thank you for leaving a comment in the live chat. Thank you for tuning in, whether it be for 2 minutes, whether it be for the whole time, whether it be for 5 minutes. If you just came in and showed some support to the stream right there, I appreciate it. Awesome for doing that. So again, thank you to everyone that came in. And everyone, if any of you guys are interested in doing a stream for the Monday Night Football game later tonight, exclusively on the Nikki Stees channel, I'll be doing a live play-by-play for the Ravens Saints game. I'll be going live at 8:15, so make sure you want to tune into that. And I'll also be dropping some shorts that are exclusive for the Nikki Stees channel if you're looking for some more content from me. So I'll be dropping that right after I'm done with this, because I got some breaking news to talk about. You guys that are following the NFL, I think you know what short I'm going to drop on my channel in terms of breaking news going on in the football world today. So I'll be with that in a few minutes. So again, everyone that came in, thank you for coming in. So fly, Eagles, fly. We're 8-0. And I'll be back on Friday to give you a preview of the Monday night game between the Eagles Commanders. So be on the lookout for that. So for now, it's Nikki Stees signing off, and I'll be back soon.